Hello, I'm JW. This is a sort of an update type of video, and it's being made in January 2017, so just bear that in mind if you're watching this months in the future. Now, for 2017, I've got various things that we'd like to actually achieve, and one of these is to make more videos than we did last year. Last year it was about 71, or effectively about 6 per month. And that's all very well, but unfortunately some of the months only had like 2 in, and then other months we did like 10. So first of all, looking to make these things more consistent, say 2 a week or something, and also to make more of them, and again 2 a week would suffice there as well. And in terms of what we're going to make, then I've actually got various things in the sort of themes of what we've been doing already, and also a couple of other things, which one of which is to make a series of fairly short videos on sort of myth type items. And by myths I mean things which people tend to do all the time in terms of electrical installations, but which are not actually needed, and in many cases are not wanted either. Things such as bathrooms need to have those dreadful manky pull cords in them. Kitchens have to have isolators for every single appliance that's built in or not. And say when you put your circuit breakers in a consumer unit, they need to be in order, so the largest ones are nearest to the main switch. And all kinds of other stuff here. I've got about a dozen of these. Here's a list on the screen at the moment. And ideally you're going to make these under 5 minutes, in many cases a lot less than 5 minutes. And if you've got any suggestions for similar things along those lines, then by all means put those in the comments section of this video, and certainly we'll look at making those as well. And in terms of comments as well, just mention that if you're going to put a comment with a link to a website or another video or some email address or something, then it will get flagged up as spam automatically and basically will disappear. Now, I can actually go in and look at these and say, yeah, this is fine and it's going to be shown, or this is a load of junk and it's going to be thrown away. But the reality is, if we get too many of those, then they're just going to be thrown away, because obviously I've got other things to do than sit down all day and look through comments and delete those which are not appropriate. And for the same reason that I'm not going to sit down all day and wade through all the comments, any comments which are basically rude, insulting, etc. are going to be left there because I can't be bothered to delete them. And if you want to see plenty of comments on that, go and have a look at the video about the neon screwdriver. That has a large number of comments on it, most of which absolutely shocking and quite frankly shouldn't exist, but they are existing and they're going to stay there, so whatever. Now, in terms of other videos, there are certain projects which I'd like to complete this year, one of which have actually already started. And this is going to be a fairly large project. In fact, it's going to be much bigger than any of the stuff we've made before, and it's probably going to take a couple of months to actually complete. So there's going to be a lot of videos on that particular thing. So I've actually started it, well, a week or so ago. It involves a lot of equipment and a lot of putting it together and a considerable amount of stuff in general. And that's probably going to take, say, a couple of months of videos to actually do, and they'll probably start being put out probably in a week or 10 days time or so on. So basically around the beginning of February, say. And other things you can do, a number of people have already sent in various items, either for dismantling or just looking at or destroying or whatever in general. And certainly if you want to send stuff in, that's absolutely fine. Details for that are in the description for this video. And if you're going to send stuff in, just bear in mind that it needs to be fairly small, because we don't have a lot of storage space here. Do not want people's cookers and things sending in, thank you very much, because they're not going to be applicable. No space for that. And also bear in mind it needs to be at least relevant to the content of this channel, mainly electrical stuff, either that's dangerous, defective, broken, or just worthwhile taking apart to have a look inside. Particularly older stuff is always welcome. And certainly mainly things that are electronic. Probably not, there are plenty of other channels where you can send that kind of stuff. But anything that's basically electrical, old, broken, dangerous, likely to kill people, mains powered, well, that's fine. And I say, details that are in the description section. Now, something else that is going to be a possibility is live streaming. Now, at the moment, we've got a decent enough internet connection to actually do that. The computer we've got isn't up to the job at the moment, but that can be resolved fairly quickly and moderately affordably. So if live streaming is something you think would be a good idea, then put it in the comments to this video. And if you do think it's a good idea, also put in what kind of things we could do on the live stream. And certainly I'll have a look at those comments later on. And if there is some interest, then that's definitely something which could be looked at and done. And also, if you are going to put that, say, make a sort of suggestion as to what sort of time of day or week would be applicable. Bearing in mind that we're in the UK, so if you're going to suggest 3 o'clock in the morning, well, that's not going to happen. but clearly more sensible times would be more useful. But pretty much any time could be done, provided, say, it's not in the middle of the night or sort of 2 o'clock in the morning or something. Now, going back to the number of videos we're making, I say I did say about 6 a month last year, and I want to do more than that this year. And the main restriction at the moment for time is the fact that although there's some money from YouTube advertising, that doesn't actually cover the cost of the time to make the videos in any way whatsoever. Of course, the money is very useful, but certainly it's nowhere near enough to say even cover the time involved making the things. And the main constraint, say, is the time, because it's either making videos for virtually no money or going out and earning proper money doing electrical work. So at the moment, the balance is mainly shifted towards going out and doing electrical work. But of course, in the future, more videos would mean less of that. And some people have actually already inquired about this before, and we now have a Patreon account. So if you want to go and make a contribution there, then you now can. And the details of that are also in the description for this video, along with piles of other stuff which I've already mentioned. And the deal with Patreon, if you didn't know, it's a method you can subscribe and just make a small contribution each month, sort of $1 or $2 or something. And the money for that will then go to the cost of actually running this channel. And whilst I don't have a huge amount of equipment, it mainly comes down to the time involved, because if I spent all my time making videos, then I would basically be bankrupt within a fairly short time, because unfortunately YouTube advertising does not pay for things like rent and food and the gas and the electricity and all the rest of the stuff which has to be paid for these days. So Patreon is now set up and is there. Bearing in mind, though, it is optional. It's certainly not compulsory that you go there and pay any money to it. Videos are still free and they're going to remain that way as well. But it is set up, and therefore go and have a look at that if you are inclined to do so. And if you do choose to make a contribution, well, again, thanks for doing that. Now, that's pretty much it for this particular video. There was one point, though, from a fairly recent one where I had this contactor, and somebody asked what was the deal with the cover on the front, little plastic piece there. And it basically fitted over the holes on the front there. As you can see, it's just sort of a row of holes in the plastic moulding. So quite exactly what the point of that is unknown. There's nothing in those holes. They're not like a contact connection or socket or anything for something. It's just holes in the plastic. So that's what's under the little cover. But unfortunately, it doesn't really answer the question, because it's just holes, and why would they be there in the first place? So unknown. And the documentation for that particular contactor makes no reference to that panel cover whatsoever. So again, no information there, no help whatsoever. So that's it for this video. Please put comments in the comments part and about the various things that I talked about. And until next time, thanks for watching.